All right. I am so excited for this conversation. This is about to go down. Let's bring on Rachel Richards. Bang, let's tag her. All right. Well, we will wait for Rachel. And I'm so pumped. If you have not read this book, these secrets to investing and to saving, you are in for a treat. There's Rachel. Let's bring her on. I'm just so pumped for this. You don't even understand how much of a treat you're about to be in for. There she is.
Hi!
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I hear you perfect, and you can hear me okay?
Yeah, it's good to see you, Mike.
So excited. I thank you so much for accepting my invitation so we could have this conversation.
Yeah, of course.
This is awesome. It's in preparation for the convo, I picked up the book and I have to show you. I think I sent this to you once before. Look how many folded pages.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
All of those pages are, and every time I read a book, I fold pages over and then I'll like go back and like circle some of the content of like what I thought was valuable. And something like this, I'll go through and circle, just
Wow.
paragraphs as I go through. So that way I don't have to reread the entire book. I just go through, but like almost every page is folded out of your book.
That's
It
that's
is
awesome. You got to send
so
me a picture of that.
I for sure will, and I'm just so honored. It's helped so many people. I've been a big fan of your work and of your
Thank
content and
you.
and just how you explain money in just a fun way for millennials to understand, and it's making such a positive difference for young people. So I just want to start off by thanking you. And if anyone has not picked up this book, you need to go get this book. And she's even running a special I saw. I don't know if she's still doing it for Valentine's Day, but it's like on sale. You've got to go get this book. So anyway, Rachel, you got to talk to me, okay? I'm curious.
Yes.
You said in the very beginning of this book, The Motley Fool Investment Guide for Teens. How old were
Oh,
you
yeah.
when you got that book? What was the age where you
So
learned this money stuff?
I was in sixth grade. Um, I don't know how old that would be, like 11 maybe or 12. So
Okay.
yeah, so what I talk about in the book is I went to this like water camp over the summer and like I was just, a kid that was always reading constantly. So I don't know where I picked the book up, but I remember sitting in the summer camp like at this water park reading a book and everyone else was like going down the water slide. So yeah, that was me as a kid.
That's great. So
hmm
you're six. So that was your first like self-development type of exposure, sixth grade. That's pretty early.
Yeah, probably. I read a lot. I have no idea what else that I probably read, but that was probably one of my
Well,
first nonfiction type of books.
that's great.
Yeah.
So you're sixth grade. You got this book. You start learning about money. Who were you as a kid? As a kid, you're I guess a big nerd, book nerd, bookworm.
Yes, big book nerd. I was definitely serious of me sitting at a computer screen, like with my hair up in this little like ponytail, and I'm like probably 5 years old, and I'm just like so intently concentrating on this computer screen. It's hilarious. So we love that picture. But I was curious. I was like pretty smart for my age. My dad would play this game where he would like try to get me to count his pocket change as fast as I could, or like competing with my sisters, and I would always count it super fast, apparently. So I was like always good at math, and I was independent and definitely stubborn, is also what my parents would say.
Well, it's worked out pretty well for you, so that's good. And
Yeah.
and you took this information that you got early in life. You Did you always decide that you said, okay, early in life, if somebody's listening to this right now and they're
hmm
like, I kind of have a passion, I kind of have an interest, I kind of have a strength of mind. Did you know early teen, let's say like a 15, 16-year-old, 17-year-old version of you Did you know you were going to go in this financial direction?
Um, Probably not that early. I mean, it was always something I was passionate about and I loved learning about, but I don't think I ever saw it as a career until I was in college. Um, I was like good at math, I was good at physics. I actually started in college as an engineering major, and then once I took my first econ class, that's when I switched. So, so it's kind of weird. I didn't think about it as a
That's
career
cool. What kind of
soon.
engineering?
Yeah.
I actually have my engineering degree.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't even know. It was like I was like a first semester freshman, so it was just kind of the classes that everyone took before you really specialized. But my little sister's an engineer, so she ended up doing that.
Got it. It seems like there's a delay, I think. If anybody's listening, I think they could verify that. There might be a
Yeah,
lag.
there is a little lag.
All right, we'll work with it. We'll make it work. I don't know how, but it's cool. It might be on my end, so it doesn't matter. But we're going with it.
Yeah.
So you figured out more in college. Going into college, you're like, I knew my strengths, math, physics. So anybody that's listening that's a little bit younger, it's like you don't necessarily need to know the future of like what you need to do when you're a big grown up person. It's like they're okay. You know, if they're in high school right now, they don't need to have the answers if we're
Yeah.
hearing you correct, right?
Right. I mean, I definitely didn't know what I wanted to do going into college. So, like, my kind of theory was, well, I know I'm good at physics and math. So, I'm going to, like, I'll just, start in engineering and see where it takes me. And then, but when you're in college, you kind of take other classes too. You might be exposed to something you've never been exposed to before. So that's what happened with me. And I took my first econ class, and then I was like, well, this is so cool. I love this subject. And I like immediately switched my major over to financial economics.
What was it about that interested you? So if you have a kid that's, college kid, they're taking these classes, they're like, I'm really not interested, but my parents are telling me engineers make a lot of money, so I need to become an engineer, or doctors make a lot of money, so I got to go to medicine. And then they take a class that really gets them interested. I mean, what was so appealing about this class? Like, how did you know it's like, all right, I'm switching and I'm going this direction?
That's such a good question. I think I just like loved the subject matter. I loved everything I was learning about. It was a totally new subject. I hadn't ever done any econ in high school. And just something about it just clicked for me. Like it was easy for me to pick up and it made sense. And I just immediately wanted to learn more. So, and engineering never really excited me. It was just like, well, I'm good at this, and that's nice. And I could have, gone down that route, but once I took this econ class, like then I was like, well, this is something I really feel excited about. And then I switched. And I also thought about, could I have a career in this field? Is this a legitimate, opportunity for a career path? And so I weighed that out too and decided that it was. So that's why I switched.
How did you come to that conclusion? Did you have a mentor? Did you have someone that was already in the space that helped you realize that, hey, this actually could be a good career? Or did you kind of take the chance? Or how did you get the data to make the decision?
Yeah. It was probably a combination of multiple things. I'm always a big like researcher in that I use Google all the time. So I'm sure that I looked up on Google, what are business majors making? What are econ majors making? What kinds of fields and work can like an econ major get into or a financial econ major? So like what were my opportunities and what did those opportunities pay on average for maybe like a recent college grad? So I did some research. I definitely had some mentors and I definitely had discussions with professors, econ professors, math professors, and sort of leaned on them for guidance. My parents are my mentors too. They were supportive. So I just did as much as I could at the time to try to verify that it was a good decision for me.
That's really rich, Rachel, because there's sometimes people make decisions on a whim or on an emotion or on a feeling, and what you really just unveiled right there is like, I had these emotional whims, but I still sought counsel. Like you sought counsel with experts in the field before you kind of plunged and made like rational or irrational decisions, which
Yeah.
turned out to be rational decisions, but you wanted to seek counsel for that. I really think that's really rich for everyone to hear. It's like, hey, if you know you have a strength and you know you're good at something, still seek counsel to make sure that it can still guide you. Like, how can you use those strengths and utilize those strengths to still make a career?
Right. It's like that phrase, trust but verify. I don't remember what that's ever applied to, but it's sort of like you have this instinct or you have this passion that you want to go pursue, but you need to verify it's going to be, a legitimate financial security. You're going to have legitimate opportunities in your future, and it's going to be, it's going to make sense on paper too. So
Yeah,
that's what I try
trust
to
but
do.
verify. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I can't
Now,
take credit. I don't know who said that, but not me.
we're gonna quote you on it. No, I'm just kidding. So that's really good. So let's talk about this. So you are in college, of course. That's how it's very funny. I gotta tell the Cliff Notes version of this. How I learned who you are.
Yeah,
I've probably met you at a conference. We've probably seen each other,
probably.
whatever. But how I got introduced to you, I had a kid come into my Cutco office and apply for the job. And I know I told this to you in our first interaction. I said, "How did you hear about the job?" He said, "I'm reading a book, and it's by a very successful financial person." And she said she started selling Cutco. So I was like, "Well, I got to go sell Cutco." She said that that's one of the ways to make money, and you have it listed literally in your book as one of the ways to make side cash as a side hustle. And I remember seeing that in this page right here, page 20. One of the ways to make money right there, sell Cutco, right? That was your preferred method. I gotta
Yes, that
give,
gives me chills still thinking about that person that came in from my book. That's so
what
cool.
awesome influence. You're in Louisville, we're in Clearwater, Florida.
Oh my gosh,
This
so cool.
random kid has access to your content and comes in to apply for this knife job. Like, that's got to be that's it. That's life goals. You don't you made it. You made
Yeah,
it.
I mean, it feels like it. It's amazing.
That is really incredible. Tell us your version on why is selling cocoa a preferred method? What has it done kind of for you as far as kind of shameless plug? I'm still in the Cutco space. Been in the Cutco space, 15 years. But why was that such a great part of your adolescence, your late teens, early 20s?
Yeah, Cutco was like literally life changing for me. That's so cliche, but I can credit every bit of success that I've had so far in my life. Like I can like basically follow the path back to Cutco, and I can see clearly like I achieved this because of this time in Cutco or because of what I learned, during this summer selling Cutco. But it's just the sales experience that you get in Cutco, you can't find that kind of experience in any other like high school or college job. Like I started, working at American Eagle when I was 16, and that's fine. But did I learn any essential business skills that were going to carry on through my life? No. I mean, not really. But, in Cutco, I learned how to face rejection. I learned how to pick up the phone and make calls, 200 calls in a night, set appointments. I was driving myself out to people's houses, doing sales pitches, like not taking no for an answer. And that's just the sales side of it. So not to mention like when you become an assistant manager or a branch manager, or like I was a pilot sales manager for Dave Powders in Nashville, Tennessee. So that whole other side of it too is like all this other management experience that, I mean, if you look at my resume compared to my peers when I was a senior in college, I was like the most impressive person in my class. So like I had 5 job offers to be a financial advisor because companies could see like I had extremely valid and valuable experience that nobody else had. So it just set me so far apart from my peers. And not to mention that like just learning sort of like some soft skills like leadership, public speaking, negotiating, how to manage somebody, how to have tough conversations. Those are the skills that still impact me to this day. And that's why I'm so successful right now. So I I have to credit like all of my success to Cutco. I really do. And I don't work for Cutco anymore, so Mike's not paying me to say any of this. But I think like people say everyone should be like a waitress at some point in their life. Like I think everyone should sell knives at some point in their life. So
Well, I love that because it's true. I have this similar dialogue with, the John Ruhlins of the world, the Hal Elrods of the world, the John
right.
Berghoffs of the world. I mean, they all say the same thing because of the personal growth and the self-development that goes behind the selling of the knives. So I
Yeah.
love that. And because of that, you had options. And that's really what we try to do, like as Cutco managers. Like, we want to create options for our people, so that way when they graduate from our program, they graduate from school, graduate from whatever it is that they were doing, once they're done with us, they're better.
Right.
And you're just, I mean, you're right in that age. I mean, what are you, mid 20s at this point? Mid
Yeah, I'm
to, I don't even know,
26. Yeah, I'm 26.
26. So right in that age where
Hmm.
you created great opportunities for yourself. Because here's the beautiful part about what you did, Rachel. Not only did you pay your way through college, many people can't pay their way through college. You created a movement with your skills from the knife job. Like, you created a movement where someone in Clearwater, you know, 1,000 miles away, picked up your book and was inspired enough to try the knife job out.
Yeah.
You have a community of almost 1,000 people that seek counsel from you. Like, you are the epitome of what it means to be, in my opinion, a success story from the knife job, because you've not only just made an impact for you, you are changing lives of so many people, which is so positive, and incredible. And I absolutely admire that. And everyone that's watching this, again, if you have not picked up this book, the principles in this book are so good. I have an Acorn account now. I use Mint.
Yay.
I have my Ebates. I have Honey.
That's
I
awesome.
use C Note because of one of your members of your
That's right.
community recommended it. I mean,
Yeah.
so many cool things. I step by step on how to open my Vanguard account and dump in some index funds, low cost index funds. I had to read. I read the Coffee House Investor. I read Principles by Ray Dalio. I read Money Master the Game, and then the other one from Tony. Both of Tony's books
Hmm.
on money. I mean, I've read Dave Ramsey's book, all these books, and I'm like, I don't want to make the wrong choice, and I
Yeah.
didn't invest in any after reading them. I read your book in a bathtub in Vegas in like an hour of just hanging out there during P
Uh,
banquet, and I was like, all right, I'm starting my Vanguard. I know what to do now, and just
that's
absolutely simplified it.
awesome.
Talk before we kind of, because I respect your time, before we kind of
You're
start
fine.
winding up,
Hmm.
tell us about some of these principles. Like, why are these money principles so important? Like, why money? Why the financial topic?
Yeah.
For specifically millennials is really who it seems like you're targeting here.
Yeah. That's a great question. So I don't know if you've read the book The Dream Manager by
Come
Matthew
on,
Kelly,
Matthew
one of
Kelly,
my
yeah,
favorites. I
one of
just
my
reread
favorites.
it. Now I'm all re-inspired and everything. But, he talks a lot about it's important to always dream and to always have your dream and to write your dreams down and to make sure everyone around you has dreams too. But the thing is, most dreams have some sort of financial component. So if my dream is to travel to Machu Picchu, then, that's going to cost me money. Or if my dream is to get a college degree, that's going to cost money. If my dream is to retire early, that's going to cost money. Most dreams have some sort of financial component. And so I think it's so important that from an early age in life, you set yourself up for success financially so that you can achieve everything that you're dreaming about. So, and it's hard with younger people, millennials, because there's not really any education out there. There's not like a high school class everyone's required to take. So, you kind of get flung into this like world of adulting and it's really overwhelming and you don't know what to do or how credit cards work or how student loans work. So, I just wanted to make something that was like easy to understand and accessible and like fun to read and just sort of entertaining. Because I just want these young people to have some sort of avenue and some sort of strategy when it comes to their money, because that's what's going to set them up for success and for basically getting all of their dreams later on in life.
And what do you say to that millennial that's like, but I have this happen. Ready?
Hmm.
Um, my parents set aside a bunch of money for my college, but I don't need to use all of it. So instead of like working and whatnot, I'm just going to use a lot of that money, like this trust fund or whatever. I'm going to use a lot of that money to like pay for everything right now.
Yeah.
And then I'll worry about everything later. What would you say to the kid who has access to money
Hmm.
and is using it to pay their current expenses versus and just like worrying about their future later
Yeah.
versus using that lump of money towards some of the principles that you're talking about?
Okay. So there's two reasons that it's important to even like during college, even if your parents are paying for your school, to have some sort of like your own financial income stream or to be sort of working for yourself, even if it's minimally. Because one, it's going to teach you how to have a good work ethic. And, you know, life only gets harder after college. So, you know, if you can handle like a part-time job in college, or even if it's just babysitting on the weekends, like that's still going to help you set up yourself for more success later on in adulthood. And the second reason is because college is a great time to start learning about money management, because you're sort of in this transition period where you're independent and you're sort of living on your own, but you're not like exactly financially responsible for everything in your life yet. Like maybe your parents still pay your car insurance, or they still pay your cell phone bill, or whatever, or they pay for your college. So, you know, if you have a job and you start teaching yourself these money management skills during college, then you'll be ahead of the game after you graduate. And then it's not going to feel like when you graduate and you start your career, you're playing this catch-up game, or you don't know how anything works. I mean, you already have a foundation for yourself. So, you know, regardless of who's paying for your college, I just think it's so important to have some type of income stream and to sort of teach yourself just those basic money skills.
Mm. I have to ask this question. Were you ever in a position where you were really tight? Like some of these college kids, they get real tight financially
Yep.
where they had to learn how to live on a shoestring budget.
Oh gosh, yes.
Can you speak to that
Absolutely.
for just a moment?
Absolutely. Um, I was in a college where I had like a full-time like meal plan that I signed up for. So, like for example, I could just eat my college food and like I would be able to survive. And I didn't have like any other money because all my money was going towards tuition. So that's why I was basically broke. But so like my friends would go, you know, even just get fast food, like to Zaxby's or whatever was like the only place we could eat where I went to school. And like I would have to just sit out because I didn't have like $8 to go get food with them. And so I would constantly have to say no to experiences like that, or find ways to like be super frugal. Like I wanted to go to a neighboring college to visit a friend, and I didn't have a car. And I didn't know how to afford to get there, but I did some research, and it turns out there's this little like bus route that will take students back and forth for $5. So like I would spend $5 so I could go see my friend in Lexington. So like I had to get super resourceful and creative. I didn't have a car. I didn't have any money. There was actually one semester that, like in the summer, I didn't meet my sales goal, so I didn't make as much money as I thought I would make. So I didn't have quite enough to cover tuition for the next semester, so I actually did take out a loan. I took out a $5,000 student loan, and then I was like, I'm going to pay this off this semester. Like, I can't, I was like, I'm not going to be in debt. I can't do this. So, like, before my strategy was like, okay, Cutco during the summers and sort of concentrate on school during school. But then I was like, I'm going to sell Cutco this whole semester and I'm going to pay that student loan off. And that's what I did. So, it's just a matter of
Nice.
like work ethic and determination, I think.
Love it. I love that you just said exactly what you just said, work ethic and determination, because sometimes these kids, they're on the shoestring budget, and instead of finding work ethic and finding determination, they find excuses or settle, or they'll drop out, or they'll just try to take some sort of easy maneuvered path, or become a lot more dependent, or just they'll change life courses because it gets tough. And I
Hmm.
think what you just said is just so rich that it's like, be tougher than tough. Like you could do it. And I love that. I love
And
that.
I was on a shoestring budget, and I can say that the sacrifices I made were completely worth it because I'm 26 now. I'm making over six figures. I don't have any debt. And like I wouldn't be here if I didn't make those sacrifices when I was in school. So it was 100% worth it for me.
So I have to ask you, what's next? You're 26. You got this awesome best-selling book. You have this following and a community of just under 1,000 people. You have hundreds of five-star ratings and reviews on your Amazon account. You're a fan favorite of our organization, at least, in
Thank you.
Cutco and many other organizations too. What's next? 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year. What is the future look like for Rachel? What could we all the fans look forward to seeing in the future?
Yeah, so there's a few things on the horizon. So I'm working on my second book now,
Oh.
which is going to be about passive income. So, like a lot of the things that I do, like creating content and investing in real estate, I'm kind of setting up these income streams that are self-sufficient and self-sustaining. So eventually my goal is to basically live off of that. I'm not going to have to work anymore. So I'm writing a book about that. I'm also going to eventually be creating online courses, and I don't know if it's going to be about real estate investing specifically, but it'll be something along those lines. And the most exciting recent development is a college reached out to me for a speaking engagement, and they want to bring me in to speak to their college freshmen. So I might be getting into more of the, public speaking and speaking engagements and traveling around to talk to people, which really, really excites me. So,
Very cool.
yeah.
So if people wanted to stay in contact and know what's going on and
Hmm.
how to, learn about the passive income book, do you know what it's going to be called yet? Have you thought of a title?
Not yet, but
Not yet.
I will take ideas. You can
Yeah.
submit ideas.
So this one was a simple 7-step guide for getting your financial shit together. This,
Yeah,
this might be getting your passive income shit together,
that's right. Yeah,
So
we'll
that's
keep it
great. So
sassy.
yeah, speaking engagements, a online course, a passive income book coming out. And if someone hears this conversation, they're like, "Man, I really like this. I want to pick up the book. I want to
Hmm.
get more of Rachel Richards." What would be the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so the book's on Amazon. Paperback is $14.95, so anyone can go pick up a copy. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. If you just search Money Honey Rachel, it'll come up and you can follow my page. But I also like always welcome people to contact me directly. So I constantly take questions and give out advice. So if anyone has questions, they can reach me at moneyhoneyrachel@gmail.com. Rachel. So moneyhoneyrachel@gmail.com. Always happy to help. I love helping people and I'm passionate about it. So I hope to hear from anyone that has been on this Facebook Live.
Well, what's cool is we're going to be resurfacing this conversation to YouTube and being able to, get this out to just beyond this Facebook Live, which is going to be really exciting. So that way,
Awesome.
I just want to put as many people like you on a pedestal. I want to put as many of these influencers and these individuals that have such awesome stories and just great ideas and great brains that just need to be shared. So that's why I just so grateful that we were able to capture this conversation. And for those of you guys that are just tuning in, you've got to get this book for under 50. It's already made me more than $15. It's made me more than $15 because of the principles I bought in this book. It's probably 100x that investment 1 year ago already. And it's just great to have a friend in Rachel. So I highly recommend you to join her group if she allows you and accepts your request to join Money Honeys. Like her page on Facebook, follow her on Instagram, and definitely go to Amazon and pick up Money Honeys. So Rachel, thank you so much again for your time and all you do and just bringing so much passion to millennials and the financial arena. It's so needed. And I'm just forever grateful for you doing what you do because a lot of us that are following are learning so much from you. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Mike. It's so cool that you do these sessions for your Cutco team and for your following, and I am honored to be a part of it. So thank you for thinking of me.
It's our pleasure. So take care. I want to respect your time. And for everyone else, just so everyone knows, Rachel did agree, and a lot of other authors, that if you decide to use a code or let her know it was because of me or Grab Tomorrow or PB&J for Tampa Bay, that these authors are willing to donate, $1, $2, of the proceeds to help us feed some more people. So right now we're at 74,000 sandwiches, 74,100 we just hit this week. So our
Woo!
mission is to get to 100,000 this year, and we want to expand nationally even more than we already have. We're already in California, we're in Arizona, we went to Texas. So we're expanding and continue to make our difference. And the focus is at some point, I would say within 10 years, to be able to get to that million mark, depending on how fast we can scale this thing. So thank you for being a partner. I appreciate that, Rachel.
That's so cool. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much.
Cool. Take care.
Bye.
And for everyone else that's still watching, I just want to say, again, thank you for tuning in. we have these conversations going once, twice, sometimes three times a week. And if you have a great story, or if you have a book you want me to kind of put out there, or if you have a great message that you want to get out there, let me know. Shoot me a message. I'm glad to put you on the spotlight. Again, I'm going to be resurfacing these and repurposing these conversations on a YouTube playlist, so that way more people can access them. And again, 100% of proceeds that from books and from conversations like this all go to PB&J for Tampa Bay to feed the less fortunate. So continue to make your difference, and thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day.